Thank you. Shri Suresh Prabhu.
Sir, the recent visit of the Honorable Prime Minister to the United States is one of the most important developments in our foreign relations in the recent times. And therefore, it is really very important for us to look at the visit very closely, very carefully, look at the short-term gains, look at the long-term implications, and study it from the India's perspective as to how much we have gained and how much more we could have gained. Sir, India started a close relationship with the United States, particularly in the year 1999. About 9-10 months ago, there was a statement which was made by one of the senior functionary in this government that United States is not our natural ally. The relationship with United States should not be considered as if United States is a natural ally. But now, the Honorable Prime Minister's statement has said that both the sides agreed that our relationship was based on shared values and shared interest that included strengthening of democratic capacities. So that means that we have taken a mid-term course correction probably to put the relationship in the right perspective in realizing that United States has to be considered as one of the most important allies of India for a simple reason that United States is the largest economy of the world, the biggest military power of the world, and India's interest lies in ensuring that we also have good relations with such large country, with such large economy. Sir, whether this trip, as I said, and this visit of the Honorable Prime Minister, how much we have gained should be looked into perspective of how much were we expecting from this visit. Sir, the build-up to this visit of the Prime Minister to the United States, the various think tanks in the United States were debating this issue. For a long time, the foreign policy of the United States is also influenced by these various think tanks that operate in and around Washington DC as well as in various universities of the United States. So some of the think tanks are saying that now we need a counterweight to China's growing economic and military strength. The think tanks are saying that China is a growing power, they are acquiring so much of economic wealth that part of it will be ultimately used to militarize the capability of China, which already has, and probably one day it could pose threat to the whole of the world, but particularly to the United States also. And therefore, there was a growing feeling in the United States trying to influence the White House that we should try to build up closer relations with India because it is in the United States' interest. And therefore, this visit should be looked into the backdrop of that thinking, predominant thinking, that was in the United States. And therefore, when we are going to look at this visit and the outcome of that, we should look at it from this perspective that there is already a conducive atmosphere in the United States to do something good with India because that is in the interest of the United States. Now what is important is how much we gain from that background. Sir, did we gain more than what we expected or we expected less to begin with? That's why we are happy now that we gained a lot because we didn't expect much. And that's a question that we really need to answer. Sir, the foreign policy preoccupation for the last several years now is India's entry into expanded Security Council with full rights of veto which are enjoyed by the present permanent members of the Security Council. And in fact, whenever India has made or received any special head of state or head of the government from other country, we have made it a point to emphasize this point, and we are trying to secure an agreement with all our allies that they should support India's bid into Security Council permanent membership. And this is what we have been doing, and therefore, in fact, this has been a major preoccupation. Sir, in this background, I would like to know that whether we succeeded or, in fact, United States, in fact, had to prevail, not only on us, but on other countries, not to press India's claim of claiming this membership by going in for a vote. It was felt that it's premature to go in for a vote, and we did not go in for a vote. So I would like to know whether this visit should be considered, because this has been a major preoccupation of our policy for last several years now. Whether have we gained something on that count or we are not is a question that really we need to answer. So the second point is on Kyoto Protocol. Sir, 7 years ago, India secured, as one of the champions of G77 and China, the group which spearheads developing world's cause throughout the world. We said that we need this Kyoto Protocol to be implemented, and in fact we actually secured a Kyoto Protocol in Japan. Now United States has refused to ratify the protocol on the ground that it doesn't serve the United States interest. India has been saying very strongly that we need this Kyoto Protocol, and in fact the Prime Minister, he went to G8 summit in the UK, where he also made a strong point saying that United States should ratify the protocol. In fact, now we see that there is in declaration or in any talks and the Prime Minister's statement, there is no mention about it. Do we think that it's not such an important issue that should not find place in the agreement that we secured, or in the discussion that we initiated, or in the statement that the Prime Minister has made? I would like to know that whether we consider it anymore an important issue or not is something which I would like to know from the Honorable Prime Minister on the basis of the statement. So third issue, very important issue, is about the nuclear issue really. So it is true that we have suffered a lot in the last 31 years after the 1974 blast, that nuclear supplies have virtually not been there, or if they are there, they suffer from high cost and low quality availability within the country. And therefore we really needed to augment the supplies and have a proper supply line. But in the process of doing that, what we really agreed is one issue, and that is separation of military and civilian capabilities. Sir, I can understand if there is a political diversion of view on this subject. That I can understand, because as the Prime Minister himself has said in his statement, that Parliament is a forum on which we reconcile such differences, political differences. But on this issue of separation, there is a huge amount of diversion of opinion expressed by the experts themselves. On nuclear issue, there is one school of thought which says that this separation is not going to be in India's interest, whereas some others have said it is possible and also not very costly to do this. So the question is, it is not an issue, political issue really, it's an issue of technicalities, in which many experts have expressed opinion right opposite to one another, and therefore I would like to know from the Prime Minister whether before his visit, were these experts consulted on this subject? Was there a meeting of nuclear experts in the country where they called in a seminar, whether they were consulted and asked that if at all Government of India goes in for a pact like this with the United States, will it be in India's interest or not? Were there any consultation like this? I will know from the Prime Minister. Probably it didn't happen. This didn't happen because there was a news item in New York Times on the day when the Prime Minister was going to visit the White House for a banquet, that probably the Prime Minister of India will have to go empty-handed because not much is going to be done. And in fact the whole world was surprised that we could secure the deal from the United States. Probably because of that we are not prepared, I don't know, because we ourselves never expected that something like this will happen. But I would request the Prime Minister, like you have said the other day, that whenever you go in for disinvestment, the government is willing to go in for a parliamentary resolution. I would request him that though it may not be required by convention, because executive is empowered to enter into agreements with foreign countries, whether a new convention will be set wherein the Parliament will be taken into confidence about this separation issue as well as all the implications of that. Sir, my concern is that when you separate, what you are really going to do is that one part of a nuclear capability, the reactors, will be put for civilian power generation and other civilian program, and something else will be put into military program. Sir, once we do that, is it possible that we can shift some of our civilian program into nuclear later on if we feel that our nuclear challenge from our enemies has increased? Is it really possible to do that? I would like to know from the Prime Minister, and whether that type of a versatility, that type of flexibility will be available to Indian system or not is something we like to know. Sir, I would like to know about the energy security. Sir, I have not even started and you are asking me to conclude. Sir, energy security issue. Sir, energy security presupposes that whatever energy resources India needs, the source of that is available within the country. And that's why we are going in for hydro potential, we are going in for coal, and we are saying that we should also develop other sources of energy. when we are talking about energy security and its relationship with nuclear energy, sir, we must be clear about two things. One, today we are using uranium to fire a plant. Later on, when we'll go into the third stage, when the thorium can be used for fast breeder reactor technology, that time will be fully reliant. Of course, it is true that we can't do that unless we pass the bridge. And to cross the bridge, we need this present arrangement that has been entered into. But sir, we should not confuse this arrangement with nuclear security, because in 1974, since then, our nuclear security has been compromised because we are not having fuel supplies to a nuclear plant.
Yes.
So therefore, this is something which I really would like to emphasize, that nuclear security, the energy security should be looked into from the perspective of availability of resources which are not available in India. We are going to be dependent on that. So while it is welcome that we really need to do it, and I am strong champion of nuclear energy, so I support it, but I would be teaching. So we have got very competent nuclear scientists in India. Dr. Kakodkar is one of them who heads the Nuclear Energy Commission. My request would be that we should try to, sir, please sir, give me some time. Sir, you are all the time telling me to conclude. I am not even, you are not just, sir, please include my speech into your, rather than conclude. So just give me some time, sir. Sir, we are saying this, and therefore I would rather feel that should be done. So other issue with the Prime Minister said that this agreement is based on knowledge sector. Sir, I don't find any mention about how India's knowledge economy, knowledge sector would be leveraged to India's benefit by way of the agreements entered into. So there is no mention of renewable energy. This is something which we should have done. This has not been done. So I would request the Prime Minister to just clarify this point as to how energy security, and particularly from point of view knowledge sector, how India is going to benefit besides the nuclear power, which of course is welcome, but besides that, how we are going to benefit from and addressing our energy security angle besides the nuclear security is something I would like to know. Sir, terrorism is something of a great importance which Prime Minister just made a passing reference. United States think that terrorism in the world started with 9/11. We have suffered from it for last 2 decades or more, and therefore this is not a history of the terrorism can be written from that day. It's not a starting point. It's not a day on which the terrorism started in the world. So therefore, United States should understand India's position, and therefore we should have prevailed on them to help India fight terrorism internally as well as from external sources which are causing serious disturbances to India's peace in the country. So recently, after this visit of the Prime Minister, there has been an agreement which was signed in Laos, in which China, India, Korea, Japan, and United States and Australia are all signed an agreement for clean development of technology. Sir, Australia and America have refused to ratify the Kyoto Protocol. They are outside it. And we are signing an agreement with them, and we are claiming that it is in fact an extension of the Kyoto Protocol. So I really wonder, how is it? 2 countries were refusing to accept the existence of the protocol and refused to ratify it, and we claim on our side as the fellow signatories to that bill that it is an extension of the protocol. So I don't really understand. I hope the Prime Minister would also clarify that, because since this agreement has been made in this House, there has not been any statement made by the government. So I would really request the Prime Minister to do that.
Yes.
And sir, last point, sir, we have been saying that China, we have been saying...
Point which is raising, sir, is all new point.
Yes. Last point, new point.
Yes.
Sir,
New point.
There shall be an end to the matter.
sir, there is a mention that India and United States are now committing to spread democracies worldwide. Sir, this concept needs to be explained properly, because in fact President Bush went to war, and in fact he was trying to justify the war to his own countrymen, saying that this war is going to help not only fight the terror of the world, but also going to help spread democracy in that part where it doesn't exist. Are we going to be party to such an endeavor in spreading democracies, and in the name of that going to fight war with somebody? I hope not, and therefore I request the Prime Minister, who is a peace-loving man, will not join in the effort to fight war with somebody else. If at all we need to fight war, we need to fight poverty at home. For that, there is no mention in that agreement. I hope it had. Thank you.
Thank you. Shri Brajat.